Yeah, Sai. We have a lot of conversations about things that create unrest in our minds or bring us sorrow or pain and how we have to work on them, heal them. I do so many videos on these topics, and everywhere there is so much information available on them. But then there are some topics that I have realized we don't talk much about. And those topics, because they are ignored, because we have not given them our attention or even understood them, they silently play on our minds and our physical bodies and create so much trauma for us. So much trauma, and we don't even know it exists. We don't even know it exists because nobody has really talked about them. Let me talk about one such thing to you, which I have seen as a cause for pain amongst so many people who come to me. So many means so many that reach out to me for help, and I realize there is a common thread there, a common problem which is unidentified. I'm identifying it today. I want to share a story to explain this to you. So let's first go to the story and then I'll come to the actual essence of it right at the end of the video. This is actually not a story. I shouldn't even call it a story. It is actually written down, and if you may have actually heard it from your parents or your grandparents, because this is something which is really, really happened long time back, and it is for real. This is a story of a young couple who were very much in love and very, very, very much in love with each other. Olden days, I think the setting is somewhere in London, where I hear what I've read about, it happened there. And they wanted to spend their entire lives together. They had a beautiful relationship. Everything was going well for them, and they were to get wedded very soon. We are talking of a time when there were no mobile phones and not even landlines, probably. So connectivity was not there. Okay. Now, one day, the girl who was in love went out, and in when she was walking outside a restaurant, in that restaurant she saw her boyfriend or her lover or her fiance sitting inside with another girl. She just stopped, and first thing was joy at seeing him. Oh, he's here. I didn't even know he was here because he had told her he's going to be at work and busy that day, but he was not at work. He was in a restaurant. First element is surprise, and then she noticed there was a girl with him, and the girl was holding his hand and sitting, and the girl was also actually crying. So this boy was holding her hand, and then he would hug her and caress her and calm her and soothe her. Then he would again hold her hand, give her a glass of water. She kept watching. She got really disturbed and she stood behind, and they left the restaurant in some time. She followed them. And then throughout, as she followed, she saw her friend, her boyfriend, her fiance holding the other girl and walking with her throughout, just hugging her all the time, being with her. It disturbed her so much, hurt her so much, that she disappeared from his life. And I'm not talking about times when there were social media platforms to reach out and find out where people are, or email IDs, or mobile numbers. No, nothing. If you wanted to disappear from somebody's life, it was rather simple. Her parents were staying in a different part of United Kingdom. She decided to go back to them and not live in London any longer. She left, she went to them, and she spent the rest of her life there, picked up a job there, started working there, and decided not to move forward with this particular relationship which had hurt her. Years went by, years and years went by, and her suffering did not end because the love she held for him was so much, she just couldn't get over it. She couldn't forget him. Her parents insisted for her marriage, that she should get married, but she was not willing. She said, "No, come what may, I will stay unmarried all my life. I cannot have another person in my life." 20 years went by. 20 long years went by. 20 years later, she went to attend the wedding ceremony of a colleague or a friend or someone. In that wedding ceremony, she spotted her fiance of those days. He was also there. She recognized him and she was in shock to see him, and he was equally shocked to see her. They started talking, and to cut the entire story short, when she expressed her anger and annoyance, etc., at being hurt over what he had done, over how he had betrayed her faith, and she saw him with another woman. Before she really went into the details of it, he started speaking. He said, "The last time I ever heard from you was the day my cousin visited me, I remember." He started narrating, and she said, she was quiet, "Cousin?" And he said, "Well, I think that was the last time we met the previous night and spoke, and after that day, I haven't met you. My cousin had come over because she had lost her mother, and she had come here because she had no other family. I was the only elder brother she had, and she had come to me." In that one moment, the girl understood everything, that what she had thought of by looking at them was not real. A younger sister who had lost her mother had come to an older brother, a cousin brother, for support, and he was spending time with her, holding her hand, hugging her, explaining things to her, giving her strength. It wasn't what she had imagined it to be. Coming back to the lesson that I wanted to give through this, the learning that I want to share through this, please hear me out. The beautiful statement that comes at the end of the story is, believe only half of what you see, none of what you hear. I repeat, believe only half of what you see, none of what you hear. If we could understand this one thing in our life, everything would be sorted. Problem is, we hear things and we believe them. We just hear things through people, about others, believe them, and create perceptions about people. It is so heartbreaking. We decide how people are based on things that they have not told us about themselves, based on what we have heard, not even seen mostly. I wish there was a way of showing people that if you actually go into people's lives and see, it's going to be so much more difficult and so much more different. When you look at a person who looks very happy, very joyous to you, what is happening inside his life, the pain or the trauma or what goes through his family, only he knows. You cannot see it from far away and judge people. We cannot take decisions about people. Baba always tells me this, that if you can just look into yourself and correct yourself, that itself is the largest task in this world that has been given to us. As souls, we have been born to work on ourselves and make us better human beings and walk the path. But instead of working on ourselves, I see a majority of us are more interested in what others are doing. And hearsay, you hear something, you create a notion, and then you live around that notion for the rest of your life. You believe people hurt you, they may not have hurt you. You believe somebody caused you pain, they may not have caused you. It may have looked like that to you, it may have appeared like that to you, or it may have been made to look like that to you. Maybe somebody wanted you to believe that and said that to you. You don't even know the situation. So before you write off people from your lives and live in agony and pain that somebody caused me hurt or somebody betrayed me or they have harmed me and etc., be sure of do your homework first before you take a decision. Otherwise you will be like this one girl who actually 20 years of her life she gave up. Not 1 year, 2 years, 20 years of her happiness, a beautiful relation she could have shared with the man she loved. She never got married, and mind you, he too never got married. When they met 20 years later, they were both unmarried still because they were so much in love with each other. And they lost 20 years of a precious life. Why? Just because she saw him with another girl. She could have at least gone and consulted, asked, confronted, spoken. And that is why Baba says communication is very important. Always his messages say communication is important. So don't just listen to things and take them on face value. Find out what the truth is before you take your decisions or you suffer in life. Believe only half of what you see and none of what you hear, and trust me, you will live happier and better lives. Ya Sai.
Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Sham. है अति सुंदर तेरा नाम, है अति सुंदर सा Sai